I think the thing that's interesting, or one of the big things that is not being talked about in AI right now, a lot of our conversations are like what you and I are having now. It's an AI application to the company, to the brand. But what's interesting when we take a big step back and we look at the industry is we know a lot of these companies are going to be reshaped and redesigned. And a lot of the conversation that's happening in the industry, it is from the point of the executive, the employee, the team member, and they're trying to figure out what AI means for them. And so you have like these two different worlds and different narratives. From a company perspective, everyone's excited about AI from the outside of like what it can do for the company and how it's going to take the company forward. But from the individual's perspective, you have executives that are like, I have 2 decades of experience and investment and sacrifice and blood and sweat and tears that I put into building this expertise in this career. And everyone's telling me that AI is going to come make this obsolete. And I think there's a really interesting dynamic that a lot of companies are going to have to deal with from a company perspective of how do we deploy AI in a way that makes sure we keep the best things about our human capital. And when everyone's scared about AI, that's really hard to do. And it's really hard to get adoption to get the value out of AI when your teams are really afraid of it. And so companies have to address that head on. But then at the individual level, a lot of executives have to have that sober and objective conversation looking themselves in the mirror that says, am I ready for this next chapter, right? Am I ready for this next generation of leadership and what's going to be required? Because AI is not going back in the bag, right? It is not slowing down. It is not stopping. And companies are not going away. So what's happening is they are changing and they are being redefined. And so what leadership means and what it means to go from, a director to VP to SVP to C-level, that's being redefined. And there's not great blueprints out there and there's not great support and other things for those employees and executives trying to make that transition. And I think that's something that's kind of getting lost right now in the overall conversation is how do I as a leader navigate my function, my team, my company through this transformation that we're in. And I think that's going to start to get a lot louder in the conversation because that fear is going to go up and companies are going to be looking to the leaders and saying, well, what are you doing? And no one knows how to answer that question.